Yeah, hello YouTube. Hi, welcome on in. Hey, I'm sorry it's been a while. Got sick, had an extremely bad back, was playing catch up, trips, 1,001 things. I don't know what else to say other than I'm super duper excited to get back into it. We have episode 6. Where's the show gonna take us? We're in season 2, 5 episodes in, and I can already tell you it's already surpassed my expectations for season 2. That's saying something. So we see that this train is starting to roll on, right? By the way, grab a drink, grab a snack, sit back, relax, fucking, get in that couch, get ready. This is gonna be a long one, not the casting couch, but a couch. Get ready because this is gonna be a long one. This is gonna be not a long one, but in-depth anime breakdown at the end of the day, right? And I'm super excited just to see where this is gonna go because it feels like we're on a fucking train, we're on a ride, and it's just going up, man. It's just going up further and further. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
でさ、超乾燥してるじゃん。だから由美子が小さい加湿器持ってきてさ、なんか授業中とか超モクモクしてるの。最近のってあの日以来、変わることのない美少、変わることのない日常。
Oh no. Oh no.
モクモクしてるの。
Comparing this to season 1. Comparing her smile, comparing how she is right now with the light in her fucking eyes, with that soft just undertone of whatnot. It's just, is it? How do you guys feel about this character? How do you guys feel about her altogether? This is what I'm talking about. Like, if somebody has gone through a complete change from when you first met them to even having a mask or even stagnating into that fake smile, that fake whatnot, how would you feel about interacting with someone like that continuously? I'll be honest. For me, if it's a fake smile, I'd call it out. It might be that they're going through some issues. I wouldn't call it out in public. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Tell me about it. If you're not going to tell me about it, then go see, if you can seek some professional help or somebody to talk to in that way, right? But vice versa, if it's a genuine smile and they're genuinely happy to be there, but you feel like it's stagnating, why? Why would you feel that stagnation is there? And also, this is where I'm just gonna be straight up about it. I have a favorite P word, guys. What is that P word? Propinquity. Love Razor. No, don't get me bad for it's propinquity. Yeah. And essentially what this means is how we interact with others and how we go ahead and establish what we would consider attachment, right? Not love, but attachment. Whenever incidents happen, sometimes it can lower this, right? Like start like lowering it down. However, most of the time, imagine thinking that you had it. Imagine being hurt at the same time while also being surprised at how things went down. Your propinquity, your rupture and repair, how you like take apart relationships and put them back together, you'd probably come back and be a little bit more solidified in that manner. So I'm sort of wondering if this is going to flip for her. Or she's going to start identifying the fact that there actually might be feelings there for Hikikun, for Hikigaya specifically, for Hachiman. Because at the end of the day, I hate to be this way. Do you go for an individual that actually challenges you? Or an individual that's just quiet and reserved and doesn't really talk to you and doesn't really communicate with you? What do you go for as an individual? What would you go for? I'll be honest. You got to fucking be able to roast, man. I just got to be straight up. Like you got to make me laugh. You got to be able to go ahead and be there and fucking, clap back. And, you got to have certain emphasis or certain things that really like allow me the opportunity to like say, it's okay to joke around with you. It's okay to be there. It's okay to challenge one another without needing to go ahead and like circumvent in that area, right?
あの日以来、変わることのない美少、変わることのない日常。逃げ出さないようにするだけの日。
Is my shirt glowing?
聞いてるよ。USB な。なんでそんなアメリカンなところから電気もらわなきゃいけねえんだよ。
あ、それが USB。
Bruh.
今って携帯もその
We no longer need a USB, my friends. We could just put him on our little pads and fucking. Oh no. The show's date is dating. Wow.
つうかクリスマスとかどうする？
失ってしまったことを言い訳にしないために。だからいつもより気を張っていつもよりいつも通りであろうと振る舞う。
クリスマスか。エビナはまああれだけど、みんなどうの？
俺もちょっと。
ハヤト、なんか予定あったりするの？ヒッキー。
Wait. If she asks for Christmas,
こっち見すぎだから。
I thought she was about to be like, hey, do you have Christmas available? Raccoon, do you want to go Christmas shopping with me, Uwu? I was about to be like, hey, yo, do you... By the way, isn't that like a thing that like couples do in Japan specifically? Yeah, hello guys, welcome on in. Isn't that a thing that some couples do or whatnot? Like, is it Christmas or is it New Year's? In May, shit, we gotta go Halloween shopping first. Oh no. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, because you guys know more about like just culture overall than I do. But isn't that like a big thing, like for Christmas time, or is it Christmas time or New Year's time where couples spend time together, like going out and about or whatnot? There's a couple holiday in Japan, right, where people get KFC, right? Anyway, the point that I'm getting at is considering the setting of this show, remember, it might be hitching season. And this is where Hiki needs to be careful. Because he might get hit, like, you know, this might be a time for him to go ahead and get hitched. Christmas is couples, New Year's is family. Ah, okay. Okay, makes sense. All right, guys, you magically get one wish from a genie right here, right now. Boom! The wizard Ed has appeared in front of you and is like, hey, you can take one of your anime waifus or your favorite anime characters out on a Christmas date. Husbandos as well. Who would you pick? Why? Where would you go? Where would you go? What would you do? What would you do? Genuine question. You only have one. You can only get one. One night. One special night.
いや別に見てたとかじゃなくてだ。
いやいや、超見てたから、ぶっちゃけうわって思ったもん。
っていうか、お前もこっち見てんだよ。
いや、それは、ほら、なんか感じたの。
Oh no, you guys don't get the subtitles. They're up top.
圧力というか、寒気っていうか。
その2つはだいぶ違うんですが、いいんですかね。
てか、なんか用とかあった？
いや、用はないけど。
Doesn't have to be romantic, Lena. Tom Cody, thanks so much for the sub.
ふと心のどこかに引っかかった。なぜ俺は彼らを見ていたのか。
おはよう。おはよう。アサイちゃん。
Best girl.
どうかしたか？
なんか教室で2人が話してるの珍しいなって思って。
Which is kind of funny because all the interactions that we've seen from Yui has been in this situation, right? Where she's approached Hiki from time to time to go talk about certain instances like this. We've seen them talk in the club as well, but we've also seen her go ahead and like approach him in this regard. Comes in my next element. Do you guys think that Hiki is going to self-destruct? I think so. A big part, especially when you have a lot of cognitive distortions, is going into a self-destruct mode, right? Going into an element of like, oh, well, fuck it. Like, you know, if things are going to be this bad, if things are stagnating, I'm going to take the first step and I'm going to make sure that things end at least in my favor. I'm going to take the hit. I'm going to be a martyr. I'm going to do whatever. But if I have to go ahead and disrupt the routine that has been set that I'm uncomfortable with, I'll take that step, right? We all have cognitive distortions that we deal with, right? But it's like being able to identify it. Does he identify them, though? And I think that's a really clear thing. Because a lot of people identify with Hiki without fully understanding the distortions that Hiki has.
そう？
なんかあったの？
いや、全然。まあ、ちょっと部活の相談かな。
ああ、部活か。でもまた前みたいに部活やってるならよかったよ。
Oh.
あ、そうだ。サイちゃんもまた何かあったら来てよ。
Right.
いや、ほら、あれだ。むしろ何もなくても来ていいからな。いつでもウェルカムだからな。
いつもよりやる気あるし。じゃあ。そうだ、ヒキ。
guys, with Saki in particular, right? We know that he's very good at like, or he's trying to get. You really like my shirt? It's a bunch of dinosaurs. I got called preschool ed at work. They're like, my boss is in preschool because he has a bunch of dinosaurs, and I was like, okay, first off, this is a fucking based ass shirt, especially when I go to work like this. You know, when I go to work like this, you know it's fucking. You know you have a badass boss if he goes to work, if he shows up and he's wearing a dinosaur shirt with the fucking the hat makes it better. Do you think the different hats, you have different hats with their clients too? Actually, I do have like an array of hats because sometimes for some people it's easier for them to process their feelings or show differences in states, like being and whatnot, wearing a hat, right? Or wearing something off. You think I could pull off a Kong Ming costume? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Our mandated office wear effective immediately. 100%. What I was going to bring up is we know that Saki is good with balls, right? Like he's like, they're a part of the tennis club. That sounded wrong. Good with playing with tennis balls. I fucking walked into that one. Oh, bro, that just fucking. She's good with balls. But my main instance with this is like, Saki is juggling a lot, right? Like Saki is legitimately like always observing, right? It's that third party effect where they have the ability to just be on the outside looking in and observing what Hiki is doing and observing what the group is doing, still fitting into the environment, but still being able to observe and jump in apparently, right? Or jump in appropriately, rather well said. So with that, I guess I'll bring this up for you guys. Why are they based? Why is Psycho based? Because they are one of the few individuals that Hachi, right? We'll talk about Hachi's projection and Hachi's, how he brings down his vulnerability for him, right? And how they're able to go in and talk and listen to one another in certain regards. Based on what? Based on the fact that they're actually able to go ahead and, number one, right, communicate. Number two, they call stuff out as is without necessarily having other intents, right? Think of Hachi as a friend based on these. Fuck you, chat. I'm continuing. Exactly, Saname. Man, I still have a hard time. I feel like Yui would win my heart over, but Yukino. Exactly, Psycho has been earnest from the start. Johnny! We're on episode 6, don't we?
言ってねえだろ。こうして待ってる。
そうだけど、あれ、じゃあいいのか。行こっか。
そういや、昼ってどうしてんだ？
うん、今までと同じ。
そうか。
あのさ、なんでもない。
そうか。
Are they two things? How broken is Yukino right now? And number two, how much does it take for you to have to breathe out like not like that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Before entering a room to even approach with high energy. I've always heard this concept, especially when it comes to theater or whenever it comes to music or performing on stage, which is get your energy before you step on, right? So that way you carry that energy through. However, if you're doing that for everyday interactions, what is that like? What does that mean? Like, for example, or like anxiousness. Can it also mean an aspect of like you have to keep up the stagnation that Hiki has been talking about, right? You have to keep, it's no longer a mask, it's a full-on masquerade. Right. But in comes in the issue. Who are both these girls attached to? Who have both these girls shown feelings towards? Hiki. What would happen if Hiki explodes or implodes? Oh, bro.
私とヒッキーが教室で話すの超珍しいとかって
いつまでこれが続くのだろう。い
Psychologist.
つまでこれを続けていけるのだろう。
でもないよねヒッキー。
これを続けなくなったらどうなるのだろ
正直疲れた。
疲れたんだ。
う。葉山たちを見ていたのはきっと教えてくれる気がしたからだ。剥がれ落ちたものをどう取り繕えばいいかを。
どうぞ。
I guess the big thing through that though is how do I phrase it? Where do you guys want your relationships? Like, and this all comes from an attach. There's been 101 attachment questionnaires in terms of what they seem as valid and whatnot. A lot of people want the relationship, so I guess deep, all right. But it's staying in here, conversation-wise, healthy. No, in fact, all of your relationships should be going. All of your relationships should be going up and down and up and down, and it should be like, okay, like, because you don't always have to be deep all the fucking time. You don't have to be balls deep, right? You could just be a little bit like above, right? You have to have some breathing room. Is staying as fake as fuck healthy? No, right? However, when we're looking at a situation like this and someone's like, oh, anything above this line of threshold is fake. That's not true at all. In fact, you can still be fake as fuck as the conversation is not really progressing, but people are processing shit and it still be a genuine interaction. Allowing people to be and allowing yourself to be emotion-based empathy level, right? Where you can stay up here, but you can come all the way down here, allows you to be there for the group to grow, right? Sure, but it's not just deep versus fake. There's sure to be other aspects like that. The opposite of fake isn't deep, it's genuine. It can be genuine and not deep too. 100%, masters. 100%. Things can be genuine and not deep, right? But people seem to only think about it whenever we look at a situation like this as, oh, it's either you have a deep relationship with someone, you go in depth with them, or you don't, right? Or it's just a bunch of people wearing masks, be like, oh my God, how was the weather? The weather was so hot. Oh my God, my nips were sweating. I was, like just a bunch of shit like that. Like people like to go ahead and pretend and only classify them like that, as opposed to like genuine, fake, and the levels that come through with it. But even further than that, now, the reason why I'm going up and down like this is because that's how a normal relationship should look like no matter what. If it stagnates like this at any point for a continuous period of time, either A, you found the magic secret that none of you guys get bored or start like butting heads or rupturing, or B, it's unhealthy. So it's got to be one or the other, right? I would say flirting as part of the relationship can be genuine, not deep, especially in the initial stages. Yeah, and that can go into lust. It can go into aspects of trying to go ahead and find someone or get someone in that way. What is Hickey's flaw in his logic? From my understanding and from what I'm seeing is this. Relationships have to be genuine. All relationships have to be genuine, and that's not the case. Things can stagnate, things can be broken, and if they are, you should call it out. I'll share this. Earlier this month, right? A couple of months, rather well said, I called out my case managers. There was a bunch of fake niceness and whatnot, where they were coming around, they were just having communication back and forth, right? And it was just like, oh, thank you, yeah, have a good day, blah, 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 blah. And just like avoiding one another and whatnot. We had a group supervision. We all sat down at the table and I was like, all right, we went through everything. Now comes in the next aspect. I'm going to call it out because I don't care and because it needs to be addressed, right? If you guys are processing one thing, it's okay to go ahead and have that ability. Like, you can have your mask on. That's okay. Be professional about it. But there's also layers as to if something is genuinely wrong or you feel like you can't go deep or you feel uncomfortable about something. Talk about it. Talk about the group dynamics. What is going on? What's hurting you? We're here to help one another, not to take one another down, right? And that's the main element through that, is also allowing people the opportunity to speak when they're ready. I think he's not even at this point knowing he wants a relationship, but he's going at the self-destructive journey because he denies he wants a relationship, which he hasn't even acknowledged to himself. Well, and that's the point, Master. So I haven't even touched on that, which is like, number one, does he think he's worthy of being in a relationship, a genuine relationship, right? Like a genuine, it could be platonic as well, but does he think he is worthy of a genuine relationship, chat? All right, with that, let me grab a beer real quick. It's fucking hot in here. Holy shit. Does our environment changes or do challenges exist in our society in the same way? Environments. There's a huge aspect of psychology that everyday therapists don't even touch on, which is environmental toxicology. and specifically to do with how our environment and society in general starts putting pressure on us to start conforming a certain way or start acting a certain way. Anyway, I'll be right back. Let me go grab a beer. Holy fuck, that was hot, brother. I was about to start sweating. The main thing through that, though, is our society, right? How we interact with others, and especially our first couple of friendships, our first couple of relationships that we formed. Our first couple of friendships that we formed are fucking paramount. They're so important. It's like, I'll be honest, the first relationships that you form with your caregivers, fucking important. Some of the most important ones. The first relationship you form with friends, and especially with romantic interests, also impact you going forward. I'm going to ask this, and you guys can answer appropriately or not, which is like, if you're comfortable. How many of you guys suck at being in relationships or finding a partner? Never good at it? Reflow? Yeah, hell yeah. The reason why I ask this is because, like, for example, this is something I just bring up, and it is appropriate with this. In high school, right? I did until you met your... Yeah, exactly. In high school, there's something called close proximity. One of the key things... And I want you guys, I'll throw this out there, and I want you guys to ponder on this. When you guys are in high school, if you're in high school, are you dating the person or friends with the people that you're friends with because they genuinely meet all of your qualifications for what friends should be, or because they're the only ones in your close proximity environmentally in which they check off at least some of the boxes so you're okay with them? So you settle for it. Because it's not like you can go out into the real world and see them. However, when you graduate, and even though you have the whole world at your disposal, right, are you comfortable going out of that close proximity to make friends or touch base if you've always been centered as your your friends, whatnot, should be those that are closest to you? I've never had one, but normal relationships definitely suck. So I hope that makes sense. At least what I'm trying to bring up is, like, whenever we look at situations like this, we also have to understand, like, the level that comes through with it, right? A lot of this is forced relationships, forced by people being in a close proximity, right? By people not necessarily being adventurous or being able to go out of their environment, such is the way in a lot of places, right? Where you're stuck in school for 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, or however long, and it's not like you really venture out into other schools, other aspects, meet new people consistently, so on and so forth. And the same thing can be said about work, which is a lot of people also meet their partners through work, for similar reasons and because of propinquity. Wouldn't you say society becomes more close proximity after young adulthood, like mid-30s, when social relationships? Not necessarily, Masters. There's a new studies that have come out where, because of the digital age, social media, Discord, and stuff like this, the whole concept of social relationships being cemented has extended further. I wasn't quite sure. I don't remember like exactly when. However, in comes in the next thing, which is how comfortable are people making social relationships in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s? Probably not as comfortable. And this is one of the key elements why I'm looking at this. And I'm like, for Hickey, being in this environment, for Hickey, being with you and being with Yukino, and being in this close group, what does he think he is for this group? Oh, man, I'm here like... I was a misanthrope back then. The older I get, the more misanthropy feels valid. I don't have more difficult... but I'm more selective. You're more selective. Ah, okay. But how so? Like, what does your selection process looks like? And that's a very interesting thing to throw out there.
Christmas event? はい。
生徒会としての初仕事がそれか。
海浜総合高校ってとこと合同で、なんかお年寄りとか保育園の子相手のイベントっぽいんですけど。
その企画誰が言い出したんだ？
向こうからですよ。私から言うわけないじゃないですか。
だろうな。
で、そんなの普通断るに決まってるじゃないですか。私もクリスマス予定ありますし。断るに決まってるんだ。
ブラーが指摘すぎるだろ。
Self-care queen. You know, it was just right to turn them on down. I have shit to do too.
でも平塚先生がやるって言うから。
やっぱりあの人が一枚噛んでんのか。
それで始めてみたものの、うまくまとまらないっていうか。
タコとじゃそんなもんだろ。気にすんなよ。っていうか、こっち来る前に白めぐり先輩に相談しろよ。
まあなんていうか。あ、そう。 受験生に迷惑かけるわけにはいかないじゃないですか。
めぐり先輩が苦手なだけじゃないですか。
もう先輩たちしか頼れないんですよ。
Oh no. This is something I do want to talk about, and I kind of wish isekais explored a little bit. Learned helplessness. The concept that if an isekai, for example, being straight up, one thing that I wish Subaru, or at least what's explored in ReZero a little bit more, is the concept of learned helplessness, where by him overstepping constantly, individuals aren't able to grow, right? By an MC or an OP individual, literally it can't be helpless if you're always the OP. An isekai becoming so OP, it stops other people from growing and from being able to go ahead and do certain things. If you're always solving everyone's issues and not allowing people to contribute, what happens? Do you feel like you genuinely will be able to solve stuff? Yes or no? Probably not. Even in school, like if you had a teacher, right, that was like, "Ooh, you suck. You suck at math." She looks confused and lost. Yeah. Because there might be an aspect thing, like you can have a thing like, yes, I can solve it, and no, I can't. Two conflicting thoughts going at the same time. Oh yeah, Emilia had that in season to an extent, because it goes. But still, the question still stands: is do you think that for in this environment, by Hiki self-sacrificing every time and going in that aspect, or like every single time there's a big event, going every time there's like a major dispute or something, he has to step in and be self-sacrificial. Do you think that takes the ability from others to propose, learn, and fail, essentially? Battery friend, yes, Moshiko Tensei did tackle it in a way, but Eris left before it became full-on learned helplessness, right? Because she wanted to be better, she wanted to go ahead and reach it, and that was a difference in that. So learned helplessness is like, okay, guys, what is this box? This is a box of? And even though the answer is right there, you'll be like, I don't want to answer it because I'm going to be wrong. And like, even though you know the answer is right there and you know what it is, you will not answer and you're afraid to answer. Or like, there's a deep like thing of like, oh, I already know I failed. It's a box of propinquity. And that's what learned helplessness comes in for, right? Is that crying or for... Is that for crying or... that's for my allergies, man. I have fucking horrible allergies. What's in the box?
そうね。大体の状況は分かったけれど、どうかしら。
いいじゃん、やろうよ。なんか相談来るなんて久しぶりじゃん。ここ最近こういうのなかったし、だから前みたいにちょっと頑張ってもいいかなって思うんだけど。
そう。ならそれでいいと思うわ。
いや、やめといた方がいいんじゃねえの。これは生徒会の問題だ。それに意識が会長になっていきなり人を頼りにするのはいいことじゃねえだろ。
何ですかそれ。
うちは何でもやじゃねえんだよ。あくまで手助けするだけだ。
True.
とにかくこれは意識がやる。いいな、俺。
先輩が言うから会長になったんですよ。なんとかしてほしいです。
それを言われると弱る。意識いろはに対して責任を取るのは当然のことだ。であるなら、意識の他にもう一人、俺が責任を取るべき相手がいる。
But why? Why? God damn it! Why? Like, okay, number one, we can tell that she's kind of disassociating a little bit, right? At least, like, she's there, but she's not really there. She has her own, it could be trauma, acute stress, whatever the fuck she's going through, she has 1,001 things to, like, process and do. Allow them the opportunity to voice their concerns and process what needs to be processed. The moment that I start stepping in and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Like, nope. Sorry, you got to take a step back. You got to do what now? You're taking other people's voice and choice away, right? But through that, these girls also need to set up their boundaries and say something. Which comes into my next aspect. Chat. What type of person are you into? Are you into the, oh my God, what are you doing, Oni-chan? Oh, I love you, Oni-chan. You're incredible. Oh my God, like Oni-chan. Like, why don't we do this? Or the, you disgust me, you fucking pile of trash. See this feet? clean him. Like, what are you into? Like, what type of personality are you into? Because some are into Yui, some are into Yukino, some are into like, Iruha, some are into like a bunch of different characters. So what? Oh God, brother! Good food, Sensei. Sure, we're really getting into the extremes, right? Had I choose between those extremes, probably the first one. Minichi, sure, no, absolutely. You like a toxic fish? Sure. We all have different likes and tastes and whatnot, but I'm just super curious how that influences the characters that you like, right? Specifically, who you start like truly going for.
今の話、部としてじゃな
Rub the
く、
bat.
俺が個人的に手伝うってことじゃダメか。
はいまあそれでもいいですけど実際先輩一人の方が使いやす
いろは
しやすい
いろは
頼りに
いや
なるというか
もう言い直さなくていいけどね。っていうか葉山はこういう時こそ頼ってうまくやるもんじゃねえの。
ガチ大変だから葉山先輩にはちょっと迷惑かけちゃうかなって
俺ならいいの。まあいいけどよ。しかし迷惑かけたくないとか殊勝なこと言っちゃうなんて、意識は意識でちゃんと恋する乙女やってんだな。感心してしまう。
それにこういうのって簡単なことができないのが可愛いっていうかミスしたりするのがいいんじゃないですか。ガチの厄介事とか普通に重いって思われちゃいますよ。
あ、そう、こいつほんといい性格してる。返して、俺の関心返して。
じゃあこの後校門で待ち合わせしましょう。
今日からやんのかよ。
あまり時間ないんです。
じゃあ待ち合わせ場所は変えてくれ。一緒に帰って友達に噂とかされると恥ずかしいし。
Oh no. You have friends?
世代が違う。
That is such a fucking bird with it too. Huh? It'd be embarrassing if my friends saw us leaving together, huh? But the overall aspect that I'm trying to bring up with her, though, is number one, how much of this is banter versus how much of it is true? And number two, right? Because we've seen the way that she jokes around and we've seen the way that she is. Number two, for you guys, actually, I'm kind of curious. You guys only get 3 options. Who do you prefer? Who would you rather be friends with? Or who would you rather date? Who would you rather be in that way? Only 3 choices. And Iroha and Yukino taking off 47 and 42 with Yui falling behind and Iroha taking a strong fucking lead here by 1 vote now. Because Yukino's catching up. Yukino and Iroha tied now. Because what I'm trying to get at is we all have different aspects as to what we look for, right? They all have different things that go for them and against them in either way. Yukino has a lot of fucking family issues you might have to tear apart. Yui might have a lot of masks that you have to tear apart as well. And then Iroha, on the other hand, while we're looking at her, there might be a little bit of some issues just communication wise or boundary wise that you might have to establish with her.
から通じないか。先輩友達いないじゃないですかみたいな返しもなくマジ真顔。
もういいですけどコミュニティセンターってわかります？そこ集合で。
わかった。準備したら行く。
ではよろしくです。
だからあざといっつーの。
Adorable.
イロハちゃんなんだって？
文句タラタラだったが納得はしたみたいだ。
そっか。久しぶりになんかやれればいいかなって思ったんだけど。
Damn, dude.
なんか来るだろう。
本当は依頼なんてない方がいいのかもしれないわね。
Then what's the point of the club? Hachiman, what is the point of the club if you're not getting any requests? Actual question, chat. If Hachiman keeps overstepping like this, what is the point of the club if they're not getting any fucking requests? To hang out. But that wasn't originally the point of the club, was it? The point of the club was to be there to help people. And for each one to have their own drive and goals and whatnot to try and tear one another down and all of that aspect. But right now, he's the one that's seeking all that out. He saved the club in extreme ways, but for what? And again, that extreme nature keeps coming through, right? His self-sacrificing nature keeps coming through.
何事もなく過ぎている方が。
かもな。なら俺たちは、一体今まで
So you're
何をしてき
recognizing
たの
it.
だろうか。
But the request shouldn't be doing other people's works.
すいません。お待たせ。
But overall, what we've seen is them overstep time and time again, even when it comes to other people's drama. You know, when it was like, oh, we hear that this person likes this other person, right? Can you help? They overstepped in that, even though that's not necessarily something most people would try and help with. Getting involved with Tsuko, you have to learn to work with people that you're not comfortable with and learn to be okay with at times, right? Even as awkward as it is, it might actually light a fire in that way. Unfair than awkward, sure, but that's also a part of adulting, and that's part of setting up your boundaries, and that's one of the learning lessons that you have to grow up and learn how to go ahead and do is stand up for yourself and how to go ahead and say, hey, you know what, I'm not comfortable doing this, or I am comfortable doing this. But if somebody keeps doing that for you and keeps talking over you and keeps saying, hey, you know what, they're not comfortable doing it, let's say for your entire high school thing, what happens at the first time that this arrives, that you've never had the opportunity, or you haven't had as many opportunities to say no, to put up your boundaries? It becomes so much harder. So at first we don't solve problems, we only help people solve their own problems or something like that.
しちゃいました。ちょっと買い物してまして。
いや別にいいけど
Oh, is it Rika? It's really good. It's actually kind of deep.
荷物重いから持ってくれアピールじゃなかったの今の
ああ、いえ。今素だったんですけど。もしかして今のって口説こうとしてましたか？ごめんなさい、ちょっと一瞬ときめきかけましたが冷静になるとやっぱり無理です。
そう
Chat, are you hitting at me? Stop! I'm not really like that. That made me really like skip a beat. Your Nihongo's very chozo, chat. Oh my god.
俺は何度こいつに振られればいいんだろうか
Rejection number
あり
2.
がとうございます。
別に仕事の範疇だよ
ああ、頼れる。そういうことなら次もお願いしますね。お疲れ様です。
Oh god. YOLO! Thanks so much for the sub. Appreciate it.
僕は玉縄海浜総合高校の生徒会長
I'll be straight up about this. Whenever you meet other people's fucking leadership teams and whatnot, first impressions mean a lot. And also the way that you carry yourself, the way that you talk means a lot, right? Had a business executive that I was meeting with, right? And even then, I've had a lot of people, for example, I've had kids in groups who, like, their entire time that they talk like this. Entirety is this, right? Or I had, like, a business executive where he's like, so you're trying to propose that, like, everything would end with, like, a, and you're just like, I don't know if this is on purpose or this is just like, holy, but like a lot of people, synergy. Yeah, it's a synergy of the group. What you're bringing to meta fucking Minecraft village, everything. It was like, oh wow, you really did bring that to like well with this. And like they just kept highlighting different aspects like that, right? We all have nonverbal cues. We all have verbal cues. To a thwomp. We all have different elements that like present itself non-verbally and even verbally, right? Communication-based settings. What do you do in situations like this? If I'm over here and I'm like really big, I'm talking huge the entire time, right? I don't think you guys fully understand the concept of psychology. I just gotta be honest here. It's huge. If I'm over here talking like this, right? And say that you want to connect with me in that manner, what do? And I can call him Little Tomato. I tune you out. You mirror them. 100%. I'd parody that. Orange Man. You match the energy. There is a really good training. You'll often see this whenever it comes to any like major like psychological training and whatnot. What you do is if you ever want to feel like someone's best friend for the first time, mirror how they speak, mirror their nonverbals, mirror gestures, whatnot. You might think this is so fucking awkward. Oh my God, I'm copying exactly what they're doing and whatnot. For them, they won't catch it if you are cool with it. If you're just like, yeah, whatever, right? Like, let's say I was copying myself and I'm like doing similar gestures. Whatever, man. They won't fully cop that. In fact, I'll be like, dude, you're my fucking best friend. oh my God, dude, I haven't like, I feel like I've known you forever. That propinquity and that rapport is established almost instantaneously. But you got to be comfortable at like being awkward with your gestures and being awkward with whatever they do. So if they're going like, or whatever, right? If you're like, oh my God, like you don't have to copy everything exactly, but just doing something similar, you can start going in that direction. But you have to keep it in conversation. It can't come out of nowhere. Also, another thing, and I guess if you're a security expert, martial artist, a physical expert, what is, I guess, the benefits of always moving your hands? Of always, like, you know, whenever you're talking, being able to go ahead and move, talk, point things out, do whatever, right? So I thought she was mocking me. Well, and that's the point is, if somebody does that, you have to establish that it's not in a mocking way, right? And like, if they do call it out, just be like, oh, sorry, I didn't know I was copying your you know, emotions or whatnot. People get used to it, so they let their guards down. Oh God, I do hand gestures while talking. I accidentally ball typed the guy. So one of the key things is, imagine this. Chat, if I'm right here and I'm like, hey, how's your day going? Whatnot. And all of a sudden I go, bah! Right? Like, bah! Like right there. That probably makes some of you guys go like, oh shit, like you moved your hands, whatnot. As opposed to if I'm already freely talking and you see me get closer and whatnot, your guard subconsciously already comes down, right? Because you're used to certain levels of like hand gestures or interactions that I'm trying to do to tell this story. That it's like, if I do a sudden movement or if I were to be like, bah! It'd be a lot like harder for you, right? Because all of a sudden, this is normal as opposed to me just being like this and trying to reach for something or trying to like say something. So there's levels to it, and there's levels of importance to how we talk and how we communicate. So I'm really curious how far this show's going to go in terms of communication styles, because everyone communicates differently, and everyone in a leadership community, like leadership has a different leadership style and communicates differently from that.
なんだ。よろしく。
もうどうも。
よかったよ。フレッシュでルーキーな生徒会長同士企画できて、お互いリスペクトできるパートナーシップを築いて、同じ効果を生んでいけないかなって思っててさ。
Oh no! Oh no! I expect our partners. He's like he uses his hands a lot, brother. What the fuck is
お互い
this?
リスペクトできるパートナーシップを築いて、シナジー効果を生んでいけないかなって思っててさ。
のっけからいいパンチ打ってくんなこいつ。
いろはちゃん、ちょっといい？
はーい。あれ、引きがよ。
Oh!
引きがやって生徒会なの？
いいよ。
あ、じゃあ私と同じだ。私も友達から誘われてきてるんだけどさ。あれ、引きがや一人？
ああ、だいたいいつもな。
何それマジウケる。
いや、いけねえから。
じゃあね。
Hiki, you really gotta get on in there, man. You really gotta get on in there. Like, you gotta make yourself, at least, like, if you're being invited into scenarios like this, you have to think about, like, where you sit and how you're presenting yourself and who you're there for and what enables it. Because this is all a big negotiation game, right? And as this is a negotiation game, you have to think about, like, where you sit matters, how you interact with the other matters, right? And then also how you navigate conversations, and the importance of being able to truly navigate these conversations is super fucking important. Right? Currently analyzing Oregairu season. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lena. I appreciate it. And that's one of the main elements through that, right? It's like, how are you sitting? Where are you sitting? How you're interacting with others? What are the power dynamics that are there and why? Right? Why are those power dynamics there? Don't know if that makes sense, but there you go.
先輩、お知り合い誰？
その言い方だとまるでお知り合いなんて存在したんですかに聞こえるからやめようね。それに君、あの人一回見てるからね。
っていうか、あの女何ですか？
ああ、まあ中学の同級生だ。
へえ。あ、会議始まっちゃいますよ。先輩はこちらへ。
いや、俺は端がいいんだけど。
じゃあ前回と同じくブレインストーミングからやっていこうか。議題はイベントのコンセプトと内容面でのアイデア出しから。
Okay, now you gotta be careful. This is where you gotta be careful. It's stacked. In a scenario like this, the amount with the lesser amount of people, you have to be, save me, IO Psychologist, you have to be able to go ahead and, number one, state what you want, because you will get steamrolled. In a situation like this, where, like, let's say they put it up to a vote, you only have 5 they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You will lose every time, no matter what comes out of this. Even if this looks like a brainstorming session, if you have something in an environment like this, you have to continuously be speaking up. You have to be vocal about it. You have to call shit out, right? And you have to do it in a way that is politically, like, I don't know how to put it. Like, you have to navigate the line. And you got to be okay with navigating the line because it can get fucking dangerous, you know?
議題はイベントのコンセプトと内容面でのアイデア出しから。
はい。
俺たち高校生の需要を考えるとやっぱり若いマインド的な部分でのイノベーションを起こしていくべきだと思う。
そうなると当然俺たちとコミュニティ側のウィンウィンな関係を前提条件として考えなきゃいけないよね。
戦略的思考でコストパフォーマンスを考える必要があるんじゃないかな。
今これ何やってんの？
さあ、もう向こうがいろいろ提案してくれてるんですよ。
みんなもっと大切なことがあるんじゃないかな。
Oh no.
ロジカ
No! No!
シンキングで論理的に考えるべきだよ。
それ同じこと言ってんじゃねえのか。何回考えちゃう。
They're saying it's corporal
お客
speak.
様目線でカスタマーサイドに立つっていうかさ。
だからそれ同じこと言ってんじゃねえ
It's
のか。
corporal
何回
speak.
逆になってんだよ。ならアウトソーシングも視野に入れて。
今のメソッドだとスキーム的に厳しいけどどうする？
How about wait, hats? Stop. Listening to the first time made me want to eat a bullet. Makes me want to fucking overstraight. Dude, I go to so many meetings like this, it's not even funny. It's not even funny, man. I go to so many fucking meetings like this where it's just corpo speak, right, the entire time. And I'm the only one's like, cool. But I don't want to send this in an email. Like, you guys called for a meeting. Let's solve this now. Put an action in place right now. You guys scheduled this meeting for 2 hours and you've already labeled everything in the first 30 minutes and you guys want to revisit what we just talked about? No, let's put an action plan right here, right now. What's the first step? If the end goal is this, what is the first step? And they get fucking nervous. They get nervous because all of a sudden I'm like, no. One of the big things in psychology is talking about SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and timely goals. And all of a sudden, once you start talking in that, it's like, oh. But that actually means doing something, right? They don't even have an end goal right now. This episode sent me in a bad way. But people are like that, especially when you go higher up in like the corporate world. People literally, like, I went to a meeting that was held about a previous meeting about 3 months ago, in which the meeting was to go over another meeting whose topic was the meeting of the meeting. And I know it sounds very confusing, but overall, nothing that was talked about was relevant because the strategic goals had shifted a long time ago. Meetingception, corpos, am I right? And that's the main thing is people like to feel as though they are important. And so they'll schedule meetings. They'll literally do certain things like this. Sometimes you need to step up and even take the game. And in order to beat them at their own game, you got to start kind of getting involved. Like, oh, I see what you're talking about. If we start using our logical hats and maybe we start going ahead and taking the first step, what if we go ahead and establish a team that can go ahead and be an outreach team to go ahead and start finding out what the students really want to go ahead and do and how that would benefit the community? Cool. What if we start doing, you have to beat them at their own game because clearly they already have this whole aspect set up where this student council probably doesn't get a lot of shit.
一旦リスケする可能性もあるよね。もっとバッファーを取ってもいいんじゃないかな。
ああ、そうだね。全体をよく見たい。
Holistic approach, brother. Oh, and they're doing all the work. Iroha, you gotta stand up, dude. They're just fucking talking around and you guys are doing the work. You guys aren't distributing it around perfectly.
どんな感じかわかりました？
いや、何もわかんなかった。
なんか難しいこと言ってますね。
No, they're not!
けど、すごいとか、私も頑張らなきゃとか言うと、超いいですよ。
No!
あとはメールの相手だけしとけば OK みたいな感じです。
お前いつか刺されるぞ。
でも、先輩も時々ああいう感じですよ。頭良さげというか。
Iroha, you gotta be careful with that. Because what if someone's like, You see, one of the biggest aspects of proponents through this is being able to go ahead and find a marriage partner young. When you're going through this, right, is being able to go ahead and understand that certain individuals aren't really fully being able to go ahead and be fulfilled later on in life, especially when they're in the late 30s, 40s and whatnot, because you're not really truly able to find the partner that they're able to connect with. So it's always better to find someone that's young, right? So this is why we should be able to come together and have a cooperation between both of us, linking our units, and ourselves together and trying to go ahead and understand this further environment. Wouldn't you agree? And that's how you get into a cult. And it's just like, wait, sounds good. Damn, this age is what? Overall, what I just said was like, hey, people will struggle at getting together when we're older. So why don't we say that we're together now? Or like, why don't we say that we're a thing? And most people just like, it's the overflow of information. Corporal speak for trying to go ahead and say like, why don't we get together? I know, right? Just say that. You gotta be careful. That's what you gotta be careful about. Sasuga, evil, and Sama. Yeah. You gotta throw high-level words, high-level vocabulary, and then just mix in nonsensical words along the way with like things that you want to go ahead and encapsulate, right? And then just like, right? You agree? Right?
一緒にするな。俺は意識高い系じゃない。自意識高い系だ。
Bro, okay, hold on. I'm gonna state this because I fucking hate it. And you guys can agree or disagree, I don't care, right? I hate, at least speaking from my experience in this field, whenever there's a psychologist or therapist or whatnot, and in my field, that talk to their clients at the high level vocabulary, at the high level of understanding. You see, you're not understanding the fact that this comes from, when we're looking at your propinquity scales, and we're not able to truly understand the parataxical distortions that come in from your attachment levels due to your DSM, diagnosis, we're not able to fully encapsulate some of the aspects of self in this care. And it's like they're not understanding what you're saying. Like the people that you're talking to are not understanding what you're saying. Right. And this is why we try and break down and go into definitions and do a little bit of psychoeducation in here. But whenever you're talking to a client and you're using higher level vocabulary, extreme high level vocabulary, extreme high level words without talking about it or redefining that definition or whatnot, that's kind of fucked up. That's really fucked up. And for me, that really makes me angry because you have individuals who could barely even speak English, and the therapist or psychologist wants to talk to them at that level. And it's like, that's not adding up. And even further, when you have individuals who try and go into poetry about certain things and not necessarily showcase the exact elements in there. And again, that's why you need to be like asking questions. Like, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? Right? When somebody uses corporal speak, I strike the Gen Alpha skibbity language. But how else am I supposed to show that I'm a pro? Let me wear a suit. Let me wear a suit and be like, I am a pro. No, bro. This is like when people come through, and I've seen this comment, you're not a psychologist, you're not talking appropriately, and you're not wearing a suit or a turtleneck or whatnot. That doesn't take away from my education and from what I do. Like me talking in everyday language and being fucking real as a real person, not being like, let me watch every single thing that I say and try and put it in a higher level vocabulary. That's fucking fake as fuck. You really think these people go home and they're like the entire time they're like, oh, right. Like, no, right? And that's why I'm like, bro, other nonsense sentence back to, yeah. And that's why I'm pretty straight up fucking drink with you guys. I talk with you guys. I shoot the shit. I laugh with you guys, so on and so forth. Because at the end of the day, being true and being real with oneself and talking at the language that everybody else talks to, that's super duper important to make them clarify 100%. With an elephant print tie and a pointy hat.
よくわからないです。とりあえずやることは詰めてきたので取り掛かっちゃいましょう。
はい。
何ですか？
向こうとはそれなりに仲良くやってんだな。
ああ、まあそうですね。って先輩が教えてくれたんじゃないですか。教わろうとする年下女子は可愛いって。
そんなこと教えてねえよ。
points.
けどまあ、俺いらないでしょ。
ああ、ですね。
いろはちゃん、これもお願いしていいかな。
Bruh.
これとこれとこれも。
あ、はい。
No!
わかんない
Boundaries!
ことあったら何でも言って。ちゃんとわかるように教えるから。
They have to do shit too. They're not your fucking boss. You guys are coming to negotiate. No. Fucking push it back on them. Ah. Bro, somebody tried to leave me with the fucking pile of work one day. I'm like, no. I'm sorry. This is my job description. Right here. That's my job description. Where in the fuck does it say in my job description that I have to do that? Oh, okay, it doesn't. So then you do it. It's your responsibility.
っていうことなんで、議事録まとめもうちの仕事になりそうです。じゃあよろしくお願いします。
生徒会がうまく機能してるとは言えなそうだな。お互い遠慮があるんだろう。
Exactly, you do.
それがやりとりを阻害してしまってるように思える。
これでいいかな。
あ、確認しておきますね。
あと仕事の進め方なんだけどさ。
はい。
いや、やっぱりいいや。
Oof.
副会長です。
なかなか大変そうだな。
あんまり好かれてはいなさそうですね。けど最初はそんなもんですよ。
No,
そのうち
you
慣れてくるんじゃないですか。
Iroha. So in psychology, we have a phrase that we live by, right? Especially if you're out in the community and you have your case managers, therapists, whatnot. You should only be willing to put 50% of the work. And I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds fucking weird. But empathetically speaking, if somebody does 100% of the work for you, are you willing to change? Are you willing to go through the process of change? Or willing to actually start healing and growing and understanding what's going on? Probably not. Right? So a big aspect through this, it's like, hey, you know what? We can meet you there. We can do transportation. We can do certain things, but you have to take care of these elements for yourself, right? And it's a process of learning, failing, growing, whatnot, because failing is okay. But you need, even when it comes to work like this, they need to take 50% of that responsibility, because if you're doing everything, then who's event is this truly, right? 100%. And the other people are just there just to yap. It's an endless fucking yap session at that point.
Senpai!
おう。
リアクション薄すぎませんかね。
お前はそれあざといんだもん。
やだな、素に決まってるじゃないですか。
I'm the yapping king.
っていうか、先輩のそれも結構あざといと思うんですけどね。
Oh.
やだな。素に決まってるじゃないですか。
あ、待ってくださいよ。
企画の概要としてまだちょっと固まりきっていないから、昨日のブレストの続きからやっていこう。
No. What? You have to go into the action stage. You have to go into the action stage. Also, her saying senpai, right? You can't go into an endless fucking brainstorm session. Here's the thing. At some point, you have to give up control. You have to fucking do action at some point. You have to go into an action item at some point. Right? Ooh. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Fucking yapping session 100%. That scope creep right there. Endless fucking brainstorms. No action plans. I'm gonna jump off if I have to watch this man brainstorm anymore.
せっかくだし、もっと派手なことしたいよね。
それあるある。やっぱり大きいことっていうか、とりあえず途端的なね。
うん。確かに小さくまとまりすぎていたかもしれないな。
No.
そうまとまってた。
Yeah, when?
議事録にはロジカルシンキング云々みたいなことしか書かれてないんだけど、俺何やるか知らないんだけど。
まあ、具体的にはまだ何も決まってないですからね。
ちょっと規模を上げようと思うんだけど、どうかな。
But man, don't you think we should go ahead and put this up to a vote and have a consensus of voting that we can say that we all logically agreed to whenever we agree on an item, so that way we all have it down in the minutes and not necessarily going into an endless brainstorming session where you think we have something and then it gets fucking confused later on down the line, where all of a sudden individuals are all working in their own independent silos to try and get shit done, and then you're not happy with the result because at the end of the day we were just in nonstop brainstorm sessions. Wouldn't it be great if we went ahead and like voted on action items here? Fuck, bro. Fuck. Little yappas.
そうですね。
規模を大きくするには時間
Yes,
と人手が足りないぞ。
ノーノーそうじゃない。ブレインストーミングはね、相手の意見を否定しないんだ。
You
時間的
do!
問題と人員的問題で大きくできない。じゃあどう対応していくか。
You're down for
そうやって議論を
rapper
発展
Ed?
させていくんだよ。すぐに結論を出しちゃいけないんだ。だから君の意見はダメだよ。
おう
Shooting down ideas is bad, so I'm gonna shoot down your idea. I want to fucking drop kick this guy. I'm gonna drop kick this guy. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Your brother said we don't reject shit and then rejects your
トミーは
idea.
ね、だから君の意見はダメだよ。
おうその割に今俺の意見
Yeah.
否定されたんだ。
どう可能にするかを話し合おう。
Good action items. How will this happen?
近くの高校をさらに入れるっていうのは？
おいおい、なんで意識高い系ってこうも人と一緒にやるのが好きなの？これ以上高校が増えてもメリットがない。
The more that you involve people in this project in the pre-planning stage, the more complicated it's going to get because everyone's going to try and put together different elements. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes community events can be fucking amazing if planned appropriately, but clearly there's already struggles being planned here. So clearly things should already be set in stone. The more that you add people into this, the harder it's going to get.
いいね。地域コミュニティを巻き込む。
No! Jesus fucking... It's like you guys watched the fucking Wolf of Wall Street or some fucking Corporal movie, and we're just like, hey, you know what? We're going to try and emulate everything. We're going to try and emulate what we believe Corporal speak is, and then just go from there. Oh.
っていうかさ、
だが単純な否定は潰されてしまう。ここは彼らのルールにのっとった
Exactly.
言い回し
Beat them at their own game.
これはフラッシュアイデアなんだが、さっきの提案へのカウンターとしてより密接な関係を築いて連携を取ることで最大限のシナジー効果を期待する方がいいと思うんだが、どうだろう？
Exactly. Open-ended question. Or close that off. Like, don't you agree? And he's copying his movement. Hey, that's what you gotta do, man. You legitimately gotta match the other people. You gotta match other people and their movements and shit in order for them to actually start like responding to that. Hickey, go off, my dude. When in Rome. When in
じゃ
fucking
あ高
Rome.
校じゃない方がいいね。大学生とか。
ダメか？いや待て、それだとイニシアティブが取れない。ステークホルダーとコンセンサスを得るにしても、ブレないマニフェストをはっきりサジェスチョンすることができるパートナーシップをだな。
先輩、何言ってるんですか？
いや、俺も自分で言っててよくわからん。
確かに。
今のでわかったの？
Oh no. Oh
じゃあ
no.
近くにある小学校と
Hey, chat. Hey, chat. He's fucking casting spells on the side. That fucking mirroring is like, I love that he keeps doing it. He's like, I don't know, I have a fucking idea what I'm saying, but apparently it's decent.
ゲームエデュケーションっていうのかな。ああいう風に楽しみながら作業するようにできれば地域の小学生の力を借りられるんじゃないかな。
ウィンウィンだね。
ウィンウィン。それある。
どれがあるの？
That's all you say
小
it.
学校へのアポイントとネゴシエーションはこっちがやるとして、その後の対応をお願いできると嬉しいんだけど、
そうですね。
どうかな。
These hands are wild, man.
わかりました。
Don't agree to it. Don't agree to it. Iroha. 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 Iroha.
よっ。引きがやって中学の時生徒会とかやってたっけ？なんか慣れてない？
そうでもねえよ。
彼女と別れたの？
は？
いや、だから一色ちゃんのこと狙ってんのかと思ってさ。
But also, I want you to consider being in her position, right? Where you're trying to not look bad, right? And this is your first time being in a, you were forced into this role. You're trying to not look bad. And so you're taking on all these tasks thinking that you're doing good. But at the same time, you're starting to feel some of the tension points and the ruptures in your own group literally not liking you. How would that feel for you? I'll be honest. I'd feel like fucking shit because it's like I'm jumping to try and make sure that we fit in. But at the same time, like I'm putting in a lot of work on my group that isn't able to do stuff. That it won't be able to fully accomplish it, right? So that's where that fine line needs to come in. Do you think Yukino would be better at calling their shit together? I think so, 100%. I think Yukino would be like, no. yeah, no.
別れるも何も彼女がいたことがない。
そうなんだ。あの子たちのどっちかと付き合ってるんだと思ってた。
どの子たちだよ。
ほら、遊びに行った時のあれ。
あれは同じ部活ってだけだよ。
部活やってたんだ。何部？
法師部。
何それ意味わかんない。超ウケるんだけど。
いや、ウケねえから。
マジ何やるべ？今日一のマジで。
確かに意味わかんない部活だよな。けど別にウケはしない。本当。
The Congress dances, brother. The Congress dances but does not progress is the true motto of the U.S. Brother. Heck, you got a taste of the U.S. fucking diplomacy. Oh, there never is. There never is. There never is. What a great fucking episode. Guys, can I say what a great fucking... Oh, how the fuck is he going to resolve this? How's he going to resolve this? Because he needs to step up at this point. This is one of the few times where I'm actually like an advocate for him like stepping up and being like, yo, we need to fucking do whatnot. Like, he needs to fucking step up and like legitimately like chop this down. It's U.S. worldwide government phenomena. But like that's the main element that I'm trying to say. Like he needs to be the one at this point that fucking sabotages it, or he takes like when in Rome, become Julius. Even further, masters. He needs to go all the way through.
それぞれのタスクのプライオリティを考えた上で優先順位をつけていくべきだ。
何回優先してんだよ。
今僕らに求められているのは若者ならではのフレキシブルで
Watch a majority of them not actually be into it. They're drinking coffee and shit, but they're just emulating things, and then they come out being like, you know what? I was just drinking coffee because I thought everyone was going along with it, and I didn't want to feel left out. I don't even really like coffee or tea or whatever the fuck they're drinking. Just like, they didn't even half understand what they were saying. They were just like pretending.
柔軟な発想なんじゃないかな。
それ同じ意味だ。どんだけ柔らかくなっちゃうんだよ。
よし。これでみんなのリソースをイベントに落とし込むスキームの準備はできたね。次のブレストが楽しみだ。
準備しかできてない。
Exact. Wonderful. Holy shit. It's just the leader who's actually really into it and everyone else is just playing the game. 100%. 100%. Could you just imagine that? It's just the leader that like really got into fucking corpo speak. The president. Everyone's like, oh fuck, I guess we gotta follow along. I guess we gotta pretend we're into it. But ladies and gentlemen, what a fucking episode. That was fucking hype. That was a fucking hype episode to come into. I'm not gonna lie. The corpo speak, the ability of them actually just interacting like that and have, oh my god, bro, that really gets me going. I'm not gonna lie, like that legitimately gets me fucking going because that's such fun little like topics to like touch on and like expand on even. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for coming out. I hope you guys practice some self-care. Come and join us on Twitch every Friday. We try and do this whenever we can. The next 2 episodes will blow your mind the way it will they? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, hiya!